Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got a hilarious show for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, the NBA season is obviously over, but we're already kind of talking about what needs to happen for next year's next year's campaign. And the teams people are already talking about are the Lakers, the Warriors, but specifically the Lakers. Right now, this week, Stephen A. Smith hasn't been seen on ESPN for the past few days, but you've had other people up there like Markieff Morris and others to fill in the void in his absence. Right, so they were talking about what teams need to make the most moves, heading into next season, and the two candidates were the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, to my surprise, they have an active Laker on the panel, and Markieff Morris, the player that kind of gave away the whole thing of LeBron didn't know about the trade last season, and Marcus Morris, his brother, revealed that during a conversation that they were having when the trade was going down in real time, he said, LeBron wants you to be a part of this trade. And then we're like, I thought you didn't know, right? So he had all of that, right? So they have this panel on there, right? And then things start to get a little bit awkward, because what ends up happening was that Markieff didn't want to pick the Lakers. And the reason he didn't want to say the Lakers were the team that need to make a move is because he was saying that everybody was picking the Lakers to be very good last year, which is the truth. A lot of people were picking the Lakers to be good. But then the panel started to respond to him and basically tell him, bro, you guys don't have a chance next year, man. LeBron and the Lakers don't have a chance. Did you just see what took place in the Western Conference playoffs? And it became this kind of awkward moment, because here you have an active player being told that next year you guys don't stand a chance. Like, you're just up here lying to yourself. And I'm like, okay, this is a little bit hilarious, and it's something we need to talk about. But before we get into this exchange here, our video is brought to you by sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least two for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we want to play this exchange for you guys. I want you guys to listen to it, and I want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
Are the Mavs the biggest threat to OKC in the West?
At the start of the season, no, because obviously you don't have Kyrie Irving. I'm going with the Lakers. I'm confused. Like before the playoffs started, everybody was screaming Lakers, 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 and they didn't even have a big. So now, if they go out and get a big, how are the Lakers not contending with OKC for the top spot? I just don't understand that, because last year everybody was screaming them. They was all over Luka, LeBron, AR. They're going to challenge for the championship. Now the year goes past and it's like, we don't know what we're going to get, right? They make this move and get the pieces that they're supposed to get, a big, a backup, forward to defend. They put themselves in prime position to compete for another championship.
Well, if they go get Prime Kareem as a big, that would help. But, I mean, look, I think if you look at where...
Well, they didn't have him last year.
They did not have him last year,
and everybody was like they was going to win.
The Lakers had a nice regular season after they got Luka Doncic, but we saw in the first round, lost to 5 games to the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was not exactly a competitive series. They have a lot of work to do to catch up to not just Minnesota, but Denver with Nikola Jokic, Houston with Kevin Durant, they just got significantly better. I think there's a few teams that I would put in between the Lakers and the Thunder. And you saw, I think, as the Thunder went through the playoffs, for the Lakers to be a true contender next season, they got to get a lot more than a big. They've got to get more defensive help on the perimeter. They've got to get more shooting. They have to find an elite defender at the center spot. They got a lot of things they got to do.
Markeith, you're right. You're right, Markeith. There was a lot of hype around the Lakers before the playoffs started. And damn, did those playoffs end early in L.A. So, no, we're not putting the Lakers at the top of the list. The Lakers have glaring voids on their roster, specifically at center. Let's see how they fill the void, and then we maybe can discuss them potentially being a contender in the Western Conference.
Well, it's a big question about all these teams, right? I don't think nobody is really in prime position to just say they're going to win. But like I said about the Lakers again, man, it just don't happen overnight where they go from contending for a championship and now 8th or 7th in the West. Like, they're literally right at the point where it's just one big. They don't need to move a ton of their pieces around to be able to get the big. You just need a rim roller and a lob threat. Somebody that you could depend on that's gonna protect the rim for Luka and be basically this guy that's gonna clean up all his misses. But if you want to look at it, they have two of the best players in the league. Like, they're going to contend for a championship. I can almost guarantee that.
They might contend for home court advantage in the first round. Let's just start there again. You got bounced in 5 games in the first round. So
yeah, that's matchup. That's matchup, though, Tim. That was a matchup. That's a matchup. That's all about matchups. That's, when the playoffs start, it's all about matchups. We got a bad matchup because if we match up with somebody else, it will go different. It was a bad matchup. But before that, you were one of the guys that thought the Lakers were going to win a championship.
Wrong.
I don't like to give McMahon a lot of
chance to contend.
I don't like to give McMahon a lot of backup, but he did not think the Lakers are going to win a title last year. I can tell you that. And look, you say there was a bad matchup in the first round. There's also 3 matchups you got to get through to get to the NBA Finals. The Lakers aren't going to match up very well with a lot of teams right now. And they go out and get a center that fixes a lot of their issues. They can add some shooting. They can add some other pieces.
So you heard the exchange. What are my thoughts about it? First of all, those guys are being honest, right? Those guys are being honest. And I can tell that they're not the highest paid personalities on ESPN because the honesty was too much. For you to be a high-flying, a high-paid act at ESPN, you got to be up there twerking, man. You got to be up there spewing all type of hyperbole, making false promises every day. Oh, Lakers. That's how you get a big name for yourself. Clickbaiting people, hot-taking people. That's how you make a name. But when you have these guys that come out here and give you the bland truth, then all of a sudden they're not going to be very popular. And I think that's what happened. They let the wrong set of guys on that show, and truth was spewed all over the table. Because had it been Stephen A. Smith or one of those other guys, they would have found a way to twerk it up. Now, I've been hearing reports that they're thinking of going after Jaren Jackson Jr. For the Memphis Grizzlies, who's a Defensive Player of the Year. That would be a boom for the Lakers. I don't know if that's going to be the case. But for him to tell them that they don't stand a chance, even if they were to get this rim protecting all of that, really speaks to what's going on in the Western Conference. Folks, the Oklahoma City Thunder just won the championship, as you're all aware of. They now have championship experience, which theoretically makes them better. We're going to have to see if they're going to come back with the same roster. One would believe so. Another team to be on the lookout for is the Dallas Mavericks. They just acquired Cooper Flagg in the first round, in the first pick in the draft. I don't pay attention to any college basketball, so I'll see if he's good when the season starts. I'm going to leave it to the rest of those guys to prognosticate and do all of that. I'll wait till I see him play in the NBA. Then I'll come to my own conclusion. But you got a solid unit there. I just heard from Shams that he spoke to Kyrie, and Kyrie has a deep belief and conviction in his heart that the Dallas Mavericks can win when he's back. You got Kyrie, you got AD, you got the rest of those guys that they got over there. So you have a serious team out there in Dallas that's going to be much better next year if they're healthy. So you have the OKC, you have Dallas, you have Denver, who's always going to be in the mix, who seem to be the boogeyman for the Lakers. And then you have other teams like Golden State, who acquired Jimmy Butler. They're going to be a part of it. Houston, that just acquired Kevin Durant, essentially got the guy that they really, really needed, which is a closer and a guy that can generate easy offense for himself. Health is also going to be something to pay attention to. So I bring all of this up to say that even though if the Lakers go out there and get this piece, the West is still loaded. And they're basically saying, bro, it's not guaranteed that the Lakers are going to make it out of the Western Conference, regardless of whether or not they add all of these pieces. And to see this get told to a Laker player, an active Laker player on his to his face on live TV, that was a very awkward exchange. So these are just my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about that exchange there? Whose side are you on? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show, and I'm out. Peace.